Hello, everyone.
Hello!
My name is Matt Armando.
I'm Emily Riggins.
And this is TBD.
With Emily and Matt.
Wow. We are back. We're social distancing another podcast.
Well, to be fair, when we settled on this, as I was walking to school this morning, the sidewalks were very wet. So I think the ground would have been very wet.
It's sunny right now, but I was under the impression it was a reasonable chance of rain today, or rain tonight. And it looks like, according to my phone, still might happen, but got pushed back. We might have been able to, whatever, it's fine. Here we are, Skyping a podcast. Nothing I'd rather be doing over Skype than a podcast. Does that make sense? What is TBD? Well, we're the podcast about tea and friendship, the premier one at that. We have no guest this week, so it will be Emily and I alone. And we're each having a little mini topic later. I don't know what Emily's topic is.
No, he does not.
And Emily does not know what my topic is. No, you do not.
Oh, yeah. Are you done explaining?
We're gonna drink tea as well. That's it. Now I'm done.
Okay, I have something I need to say. I can think of some things I'd rather do over Skype than podcast.
What is it?
Be a part of like a lottery results reading where I'm the lottery result winner.
But over Skype?
Yeah, it's socially distanced times. It has to be over Skype. You asked me what I'd rather be doing. I made up a scenario in my head.
What is this lottery? Like a real lottery?
Yeah, like I'm getting $6 million from this lottery in my brain.
And you're not just checking the numbers like on the phone.
This is my scenario, Matthew.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to figure out like the details of your scenario.
So yes, I went to the gas station. I got a lottery, but then it was a series of people that were selected. So let's say seven people for this lottery were selected beyond the Skype call. Yeah.
Now, let's like break off. Can you have that many people on a Skype call, or is it only two people?
Well, next to my face, but above your face, there's like a big circle that has person. Ooh, an add plus.
Person. I think that's new. I see it as well. Should I add somebody right now?
Yeah, let's add.
I have three friends on Skype that I could add.
Let's get Laura on here.
She's one of them. Yeah.
I really did a shot in the dark. And I was right. I'm really proud of myself.
Honestly, I'm surprised. I don't know of Laura. Actually, I don't know of any. You're the only person I talk to on Skype. So all these other people, like, I don't know how I'm friends with them or why, but we're there. Okay, this is cool. I like your lottery thing. I also like the reveal that you believe lottery tickets are specifically purchased at gas stations. Like, that's definitely like.
Where else do you buy them?
Well, I'm in my world. I guess my dad. I used to buy lottery tickets a lot, and he would go to the convenience store up the street, which was not a gas station, just a corner store kind of thing. And then when I see all the ads in like New York, it's any like bodega you can buy like lottery tickets at.
That's true. I guess so. Where I was growing up, we would our convenience stores were also mostly gas stations.
Yeah.
Like there's grocery stores, and I do think you can buy lottery tickets at grocery stores.
Some grocery stores have gas stations.
That's true. But I feel like I can't think of any small bodega convenience store type thing.
Okay, up the street from where I grew up, there was a pizza place / just like cigarettes and lottery tickets and candy bars store. And then eventually started selling beer, which was like Massachusetts. There's a whole fraught history of who can sell you beer or not. But that was like, yeah, you could get pizza. So we'd get pizza there like every Friday night or whatever. And then just random. It wasn't really even a convenience store. It was just like, I mean, that kind of convenience, but just like snack. I feel like snacks and Tylenol and pizza. Like I guess you could buy like toilet paper and stuff there.
Okay, I think of two places in my hometown.
Yeah.
Okay, there was those like drive-through convenience things. I don't know if they're in Massachusetts, but it's like a building that has a big like drive-through spot in it. And you drive through and you go to the cashier and you're like, I want a 6-pack of beer and a bag of chips. And they bring it to you. I think you could probably get lottery tickets, although I'm not sure. That is a convenience store. I'm going to say that.
I will say that those do not, as far as I know, exist in Massachusetts.
And the other one is near the house where my mom grew up. There was like a little, I guess I don't know if it was a convenience store. And I actually don't know if you can buy lottery tickets. But I think it is at one point called Bays. My mom is going to either be really impressed by this story or not be impressed at all because I don't remember the details. But you could buy like candy there.
Yeah.
But that was not connected to a gas station. My point is both of those places are not connected to gas stations and I do think would be classified as convenience stores.
There you go. I mean, I guess this place that I'm thinking of is a convenience store. I just like, I never bought anything of convenience from it. It was always like of things of vice.
Yeah.
And let me say, it was called the Brattle Stop. And it was called the Brattle Stop because it was like on train tracks, basically. Or like a train goes by it and there's, like the street, where a train crosses the street and then the railroad signs come down. It's like right next to one of those. And so they acted like they were a stop on it, even though it was a freight line, so they weren't really a stop there. But it was kind of a cute name,
Yes, yes.
It's still there. I still go there when I go home.
Wow.
There you go. And next time I'll buy a lottery ticket, maybe.
Please do. Follow up next time.
Should we jump into it?
Tea talk, tea talk, tea talk, tea. Talk.
Before we get into what we're drinking, so I'm in an improv class right now, and it's over Zoom. And it's from 6 to 8, which is still like a good time for me to make some tea right before it starts. And you just like, I don't know, because I used to bring tea to improv classes all the time. Like I would go to the Gregory's Coffee and get myself an Earl Grey and bring it to whatever class I was at. And so this isn't that out of the ordinary. Like I'm just sitting there. You're doing a lot of talking in improv. You're drinking your tea maybe. And in the first class, like in the preamble to how to use Zoom for improv purposes, I was told, or like not specifically me, but the class as a whole was told to not be on mute. Don't mute yourself because you can laugh at everyone's fun improv scenes. But that if you drink anything, to maybe temporarily mute yourself, or if like a siren goes by your building or something, that you may mute yourself for a moment, but not to drink things so that people don't hear your mouth sounds. And I felt personally attacked by that because of my tea drinking, even though I wasn't being called out. So, I was like, yeah.
I don't know who your instructor is. I'm sure you've told me and it slipped. Mm-hmm. But I bet they knew you had a podcast. And I bet they were like, this guy with a podcast, he's not allowed to drink on Zoom. Yeah.
Well, all I want to do is apologize for my mouth sounds to the people in this podcast.
Well, I will say, I understand what people are saying when they say that about Zoom. And, like, you should leave yourself on mute so people can hear you laugh. But I kind of disagree. Because there's so many background noises you don't realize. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes I can hear the people in my apartment next door. Is that getting caught on Zoom?
Yeah. I mean, I think little noises... Honestly, I think little noises is fine. Like, if somebody started striking up a conversation in my hallway, I would mute myself. But if someone was just passing by my room, I probably wouldn't. I mean, I can hear my elevator dinging from inside my apartment. And, like, I know that's making noise and probably getting over the Zoom. But that doesn't bother me. And I don't know. I think it's interesting that some people are that bothered by mouth sounds in particular. I'm assuming none of our listeners are bothered by that because we're drinking tea all the time. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess, like, any sound can be annoying to somebody, right? Maybe the sound of my voice is annoying to people. Am I supposed to stay on mute the whole time?
You have to only do improv mute now.
That's a bummer.
I'm sorry.
Most of my best improv is when I'm talking.
Matt, what tea are you drinking today?
Okay.
And you're allowed to drink it, not on mute.
Thank you. I'm drinking a very interesting tea. I think you'll agree wholeheartedly that this is possibly one of the most interesting teas anyone has ever had on this podcast. So in the fall, I went on a little vacation to upstate New York. I did not leave the state of New York, but I went upstate a little bit, and I went to Beacon. I went to Beacon, which is a cute little town and has some shops and some restaurants and whatever. I may have talked about it briefly on the podcast back then, but what I didn't talk about was that I bought a tea while I was there. I went to a store that sold marshmallows, which I did send Emily a picture of my s'more at the time or something along those lines.
Yes, I remember this.
I had bought s'mores from this place, but one item that I saw from like the shop that they had inside of it that I thought was very interesting was the store was called the Hudson Valley Marshmallow Company, and which is why I said Hudson before I said Beacon. And they have a bunch of beverages. They had like hot chocolates and things you could buy, but I did not. Well, I guess technically this is a kind of hot chocolate, but I bought Sweet Chai of Mine premium white hot chocolate mix with chai spices.
Oh, sweet chai of mine.
Yes.
Sorry.
So it is kind of more in the hot chocolate range than it is a tea, but it has chai spices, so I'm counting it.
I think it counts, and I'm actually very excited for our comparison of our two teas, just so you know.
Wow.
Spoiler!
Wow.
Okay, you get the chai spices in this hot chocolate.
So this came as a powder, and I heated up some milk, which another thing that makes this crazy and interesting is that I had macadamia milk today. It was called Milkadamia, and I've never had it. We are in my household trying some new alternative milks. I have another milk sitting waiting for me to try.
What kind?
Hazelnut as my other one.
So you've tried soy, I assume.
I've had soy in my life. I don't think we've bought soy. I've had soy before.
I'm just going down the list. Almond. I know you've had that because I've had it with you.
Almond, yes.
Oat, which we've discussed.
Yes.
Pistachio.
Yes.
And so now you're on...
And I've had coconut.
And coconut. I forget. So you are now on macadamia and hazelnut. I bet hazelnut would be good.
Yeah, so I haven't had the hazelnut yet. This is the first attempt at macadamia. Emily is freaking out.
You should have done hazelnut with your chocolate, because then you would have had a Nutella hot chocolate.
That's true. Maybe next time.
Sorry.
I poured this macadamia stuff. I poured it into a measuring glass so that I could like get the right amount for the proportions. And I poured it and I was like, this is so thick looking. And I tried some of it. Or I smelled it first. I smelled just the milk, straight milk. And I was like, oh my God, what is this going to taste like? And I had some of it. It tastes like liquid frosting. It is crazy what this milk tastes like. So it's, macadamia milk tastes like frosting. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm mixing it with this this chocolate thing. I'm going to have like basically dessert in a mug.
Does it taste like dessert?
And I got to tell you, it tastes like dessert in a mug. This is like what feels like one of the most decadent things I've ever drank. Can I read to you the directions?
Absolutely.
Mix 3 tablespoons per 8 ounces of milk. Makes 9 to 10 servings, depending on the intensity desired.
Wow. How much do you have left?
So this is my first time using it. So I still have another 8 to 9 servings, depending on the intensity desired.
Okay, so I got a couple questions.
Oh my God, I have to back up. It does have tea in it. It's the ingredients: white chocolate, white chocolate, pasteurized skim milk powder, sugar, spice, Earl Grey tea, and vanilla bean powder.
Okay. I got like 8 comments.
Okay.
So this is described as a chai hot chocolate, basically?
Yeah.
Does it say it has like cinnamon spices and stuff? I know you said the word spice.
It just says spice.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that is cinnamon. But Earl Grey, is not a chai tea.
No. I'm shocked to find that that's on. This is my first time reading the ingredients, and I'm shocked to find that it says Earl Grey tea.
Also, vanilla isn't really a chai flavor. Vanilla, delicious. Earl Grey tea, delicious.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these aren't chai ingredients, including the white chocolate. But
well, yes,
they're kind of going for whatever. And you know what? I'm digging it.
Does it taste like you're drinking frosting right now?
Yeah, pretty much, and not like in a gross way. It tastes pretty good.
Okay, so I have a few more questions for you. So you tried this macadamia thing. I know you're probably ignoring it, but am I moving to you?
You are frozen to me.
Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't ignore it. So
you're back.
Oh yay. So you said the macadamia milkadamia tasted like frosting.
Yeah.
Does it still taste like frosting?
Yeah. So it's definitely like before it was frosting, and now it tastes like white chocolate with frosting or something.
So like a white chocolate frosting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I definitely would say don't add sugar to this. I'd say maybe it could go with a less powerful milk. Maybe I was literally I just ran out of oat and coconut milk, so I was like, well, I guess I'm using the macadamia nut milk. So who's to say if I'm getting a completely honest read on what this tastes like? But it definitely tastes. Yeah, it tastes like frosting, tastes like dessert. And it's not, I'd say to me, it's not gross. Like that sounds like it could be a gross description, but I think it tastes good.
Okay. Do you get the chai vibe from it?
Wow, chai vibe. Let me try another sip.
Okay, Matt's taking a sip. I just have so many comments about this tea that I have to save for later.
I mean, it does have like a cinnamony taste, so it definitely must have that in it. I mean, looking at it, it kind of looks like it has like a chai spice deal. Like I don't know. It's not completely unlike a chai, but it's also not super similar to one either.
Do you get the bergamot flavor from the Earl Grey?
Not really. It's kind of drowned out by the white chocolatey taste of it. But maybe, I don't know. It's hard. I'm getting so many flavors from this. Like I smell it and I'm like, I'm smelling everything. I'm tasting it. I'm like, I'm tasting everything.
Okay, those are really the two questions I have. If you made this again, will you please use the hazelnut and report back?
Yeah, I guess I'll have to use it soon because I'm going to open the hazelnut soon.
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't know you were going on this milk journey, and I really wish you luck.
I'm really much like playing Pokemon. I'm trying to catch them all.
What are the ones that are left?
Well, I mean, I have to get to the hazelnut. I feel like there must be others. I mean, I could do a whole soy. Emily's looking it up. I can hear her clicking.
Absolutely, I am.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess I could do a whole soy. I haven't really done I haven't bought like a bottle of soy milk, I suppose. Or even almond. I haven't done like a whole bottle of almond. But yeah, there must be more. What are some other things that exist?
I saw something for rice milk. I don't know if that's like a drink thing. But you can replace it in baking. It is not a very helpful website I found myself on. The rice milk was the one that stood out to me.
Well, I'll certainly let you know if I have any more journeys down Milk Alley.
Milk Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm really excited for this journey for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say about this tea?
No, not really. Tastes a little like marshmallow hot chocolate.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like this would be great on a wintry, frozy day?
Yeah, I would totally have this camping, or just out like in the snow, or like if I was in a hot tub, but it's also winter, and I'm like, so it's like cold air, hot tub, drinking this. Yeah, this would go well in the winter. I did buy it in the fall. I did wait until it's nearly summer to try it.
That is wild that you had through the whole winter and you just...
Yeah. Well, at times I would forget about it, and other times I'd be like, oh, I should bring this on the podcast, and then I would still forget about it. It was sort of, here's the problem. It wasn't with my tea, and I think I really should have been keeping it on my tea shelf, but I had just like put it into a cupboard instead, so it wasn't always top of mind. But You know what? It's in a tea tin now, so it'll stay with the tea stuff.
It's very exciting. I was wondering why it looked empty when you said there was still some left.
Oh, yes. This is a completely empty container that I've been showing to you. But I put it into one of my vacuum seal looking things.
Matt, can you show me the container again? Matt, would you say that this sweet chai, oh mine, from the Hudson Valley Marshmallow Company, white hot chocolate drink is your cup of tea or not your cup of tea?
This is my cup of tea. It's kind of insane, but I like how insane it is, and I'm having a good time. Oh man, there's so much sugar in this thing. It's one serving would be 32% of my daily value of sugar. So there you go. And I will say the Milkadamia has a little bit of sugar in it as well.
Wow.
So no wonder it tastes so good, but yeah, it's good.
I'm happy you're eating frosting just straight.
I could have probably just spooned some frosting from a tub, and this would have been basically the same thing. Okay, Emily. You have a tea on your end.
Hell yeah.
In your apartment. You're also drinking one. What tea are you drinking?
I am drinking from the Tea Spot, the Climbers High Chai.
Wow.
So, also has chai, but it is not a traditional chai. And that's why I was excited when you said, you don't have a traditional chai.
Wow.
I'm going to read you some copy. This supercharged yerba mate spicy chai is both good for you and a pleasure to drink. Micro blend of teas, spices, and herbs formulated to provide a refreshing daily lift for high energy lifestyles. Originally formulated to assist people with adjusting to high altitudes.
Wow. Well, you're high up in Manhattan. Does that count?
I feel so grounded because of this tea. So I'm trying to find the ingredient list, but it's being difficult. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's roasted yerba mate, black tea, green tea, white tea. Whoa.
Dropped something on my keyboard. It's okay.
Okay. So it has pretty much every single type of tea. Roasted yerba mate, black tea, green tea, white tea, pura, ginger root, cinnamon, cardamom, licorice root. Oh no, I should have read this beforehand. Eleuthero, your ginseng root, saffron. Ooh, that's an expensive spice. Black pepper, clove, fennel, safflowers, peppermint, tulsi, and vanilla flavoring.
Wow.
So basically it has everything known to man.
Yeah, it's a real. They threw everything but the kitchen sink in there.
Truly, it has every single type of tea.
Have you had this before? Or is this your first time? Okay. Are you drinking it hot?
I am drinking it hot. I think, I love to say this. I think it would be pretty good iced, but I do think it's better hot.
I'm going to go ahead and say my drink would be weird cold.
Yes, absolutely.
Because then it would just be like real, just like having frosting. Let's see. Do you think this would be good if you were high in actual altitude and not just high in the streets? How do you say that? Like uptown? Uptown, I guess is what I wanted to say.
Listen, I'm not a climber. I can't say I've ever been in a super high altitude. Certainly never been to Colorado where the Tea Spot is.
You've been to the top of that hill in Columbus or whatever, right?
It's in Lancaster and it's called Mount Pleasant and it is a very high hill. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say yes, it would help.
Okay, great. Oh yeah, because this is Tea Spot is from Colorado.
Yeah. It says handcrafted in Boulder, Colorado since 2004.
Wow. Okay. Does it taste to you like a chai?
So it doesn't have that traditional like black tea flavoring, clearly, but the spices do match up with a chai spice, I think.
Okay, good spice. Is it? And yours, you say, would be good cold. So that's. We have opposite opinions about our respective chais. I'm sure mine wouldn't be bad, but it is supposed to be hot chocolate.
That's true. Pretty much a mocha is a hot chocolate with an espresso in it, and I do like iced mochas, but I think that's different.
I mean, is it going to taste bad? Probably not. Is it going to taste right? Also probably not. Okay. Let's see. Did I have any other questions?
I don't know.
How does it make you feel? Good?
It feels good. I don't know if I've ever felt an energy from it, like caffeine boost, but I guess I'm so addicted to caffeine I might not even notice. I told my mom one of my goals this summer is to be less addicted to caffeine, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Wow.
I've been getting headaches in the mornings.
Because you're not getting the caffeine?
Like before I do it. And then as soon as I take like 2 sips, my body calms down. So there also might be a psychosomatic thing.
Could be.
But
maybe you should switch to decaf, and then if it's psychosomatic, maybe your body will trick your body.
I will say, so I usually take tea bags into work, so I have good tea. And I've recently ran out. Which would be fine, because there's a pretty good Earl Grey tea at work, which we've actually had on the pod before. A long time ago. Mm-hmm. And, which is fine, which is great. And I'll drink it. Except for the last 2 days, when I went down to go make tea, there's been no black teas.
Wow.
So there's been a Lipton tea bag, but you know how I feel about Lipton. But then I realized today, so I didn't have it yesterday, but I realized today I was like, that's fine. I want some tea. It's decaffeinated. It's decaffeinated Lipton black tea. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I think they haven't gotten their new shipment in. But
somebody call Cisco up.
I was mad. I was mad.
I'm sorry
that I made
that
myself a cup of coffee and it wasn't what I wanted.
I'm sorry you went through that.
It's okay. It was really traumatic, clearly, because I'm still talking about it.
That's how I can tell if something bothers you, if you're still talking about it. Yeah. We'll see if you're still talking about it like a week from now. Then that was truly traumatic.
Well, I'll tell you what. What if they don't have any more tea? We still haven't gotten new tea in a week.
Wow, that's just irresponsible.
I mean, really what I need to do is I have tea bags to take to work. I specifically bought tea bags to take to work.
Emily, do you find this tea from the Tea Spot, the Climber's High Chai, to be your cup of tea or not your cup of tea?
It's my cup of tea. It's not like stellar, but I enjoy it. It's interesting. The bergamot flavor, I guess, comes through. I don't know if I could distinguish it separately, but it definitely comes through.
Yeah, mine has such an intense flavor. I'm like, I don't know. The intensity is there.
But mostly I just get like the cinnamon blend of spices. It's not over cinnamony. It's like bordering right on the edge of over cinnamony. I do think if it was iced, it might be over cinnamony. Like make it more powerful.
Gotta let the ice melt a little more.
Yeah. I didn't put milk in this tea because as I've only been putting it in black tea, and I didn't realize this had any black tea in it. But yeah, it's my cup of tea. I mostly picked it because I'm nearing the end of the amount I have, and I made a bigger cup for this so I'd have it to get rid of more leaves because I'm trying to get through some tea leaves, guys.
Wow.
Which is something I feel like I'm always doing, but yeah.
I'm surprised you have gotten this far without realizing that there was black tea in it.
Well, it's not on the ingredients list on the thing. Yeah.
It was a very, very short list on the tin itself.
Yes, it literally just says bergamot, teas. I guess it says teas, herbs, and flavors.
It's playing a little coy, you know?
Yeah.
Tea talk done?
Tea talk complete.
Wow. Should we check in about anything? I have something I could check in about.
We're checking in about the past.
Wow. So this wasn't even that long ago, and I think it was in September we did the episode where I regaled our audience with how much I love the TV show Archer. And it was because there was a new season of Archer coming out, and that was very cool, and I watched it when it came out, and it was very good. I have, since we recorded that, rewatched the entire series. And I gotta say, if I did that episode again, I probably would have like a million more things to talk about, because I'm realizing like I have so many opinions on it now. But what a good, complex show that it is. And I honestly, watching it all in a row, like there was all these different like callbacks and connections that I did not necessarily remember when I was watching them the first time through. Like maybe some of them, hit a certain synapse in my brain to be like, I remember that. But this time I was like, oh my God, there's so many jokes, like way more than I ever recalled that sort of run through the whole series. And I knew a lot of them. That's not to say that I didn't know that there were a bunch, because I'm sure any Archer fans out there are like, oh yeah, the show's full of callbacks. Like at least 2 to 3 times as many as I thought there were.
Yeah.
And I have like all these new theories about different seasons and stuff. Like I'm like, I don't know. I really worked my brain watching it again. And also some of the episodes I had never seen twice. So it was definitely like, oh, now I'm watching this like again with the foresight of knowing like what happens in later episodes and the hindsight of how everything connects. So now I'm like, oh, crazy.
Might I suggest something to you?
Go ahead.
I found at least 20 different ways to discuss reading on this podcast.
Uh-huh.
I think you could make a new topic. That's an excuse to discuss Archer.
Maybe. I don't know.
Animated television shows.
That's
foreshadowing.
True. I have a giant animated television show I haven't talked about yet in this very podcast.
Is it something that's in your background?
There might be some of it in my background. But
listeners,
yeah,
I think
don't know.
It's probably The Simpsons.
It probably is. I don't know. My check-in is basically to be like, I should have talked more about certain things about Archer. I rewatched it. It's even better than I remembered it. There we go.
Okay, I don't think I have anything to check in about. And I don't think we have any emails.
No emails. All right. We are checking out of the check-in. Emily, you are going to be first in telling in between the two of us. I don't know. Yeah, I thought I had something clever, but I didn't. We have 2 topics. Emily's going to tell hers, and then I'll tell mine later. I have no idea what Emily's going to talk about, but she's going to tell me right now.
It's crazy that you say that I'm first. Mm-hmm. Because my topic is basically about how I'm a first place person. I'm a first place person. I'm going to tell you why. My topic is the concept of Star Baker.
Star Baker?
From the television show, The Great British Bake Off. And I'm bringing this up.
Wow.
Because I think it's a great show.
So wait, what is the topic? The topic is what?
We'll get to it, Matthew.
Okay.
We will get to it. You're not the only one who gets to build up to things, okay?
I thought you said like 3 different topics already. I thought it was for being in first place. I thought it was being the Star Baker, and then I thought it might have been the Great British Bake Off.
It's gonna make sense.
Okay.
Soon.
Okay.
So, it's a great show, and I'm gonna get more into the show soon. But, so basically each episode, it's broken down into 3 different segments.
Okay.
The signature bake, the technical, and the showstopper.
Wow.
And I say all of this to give you some background to my crowning achievement in life.
Oh my God, I know what this is.
The thing that I'm most proud of, maybe I'm going to say it at least, I'm 31 years old, I'm going to say 31. Maybe more proud of it than when I graduated college, my master's, high school, definitely.
What about when you graduated middle school? Was that a bigger achievement?
That it's cutting it close. So recently my school did their own version of the Great British Bake Off. And your girl, Emily Claire Riggins was your star baker.
Well,
my topic is star baker.
Dear listener, which was something that I said was maybe your topic a minute ago. Dear listener, last week on the podcast, last episode of the podcast 2 weeks ago, Emily made me on air congratulate her for the second time that I congratulate her for winning Pac-Man 99. I won a game of Pac-Man 99. Emily has never once congratulated me for that.
I think I liked it.
I don't think you did.
Whatever.
Never once has Emily congratulated me. And here she is. And this is yet another thing. Emily has already told me about this bake-off. I already said, and I quote, "Great job!" exclamation point.
I am a first place person.
Okay.
So it was actually very fun. We did it over Zoom. And so it really closely mirrored the signature bake challenge of the Great British Bake Off, where we all had to like follow the basic same idea. We had to make iced cupcakes. And then there were like instructors showing us what to do. And like following us on every step, but we each had to have our own like special ingredient. And they were like, if it's a liquid ingredient, you add it now. If it's a dry ingredient, you add it now. Stuff like that. Okay. And then some people put like it in their icing. Some people put like a caramel in the center so it would get like oozy. I chose. Mm-hmm. My cupcake was an Earl Grey tea cupcake. And my icing was lavender frosting because I was recently inspired by a tea I got from my soap spike box that I did not have in the pod, and I would like to apologize to you for that. But so they were basically lavender Earl Grey cupcakes, and they were delicious. I actually was way too far in the weeds to think if they tasted good. Have you ever had that experience where you just don't know if something's good because you made it and you know every single thing that happened to them?
Yeah, about once a month I make a sketch comedy video and I had the same feeling.
So like when I made them the night before I turned them in to be judged, they were like too sweet. Like I ate like half of it and I couldn't finish it. It was like an explosion of sweetness.
So you made them at home?
Yes.
Over Zoom?
Yes.
And then the next day you brought them in.
Yes.
And people tasted them. Okay, so I mean, if you wanted to, you could have cheated, right? You could have remade your food.
Oh yeah, I easily could have remade them.
I'm just saying.
You also, in theory, you could have bought store-bought cupcakes. Although I think store-bought cupcakes taste different than homemade cupcakes.
Yeah.
And then I had them the next morning, and I was like, "Are these a little dry? I think they might be a little dry." Even when I had them after I'd already announced the winner, I still was like, I feel like these are a little dry. But again, I was too far in the weeds.
Mm-hmm. Aren't cupcakes supposed to be sweet?
No, but like, they were like, to quote Paul Hollywood and his fellow judges, they were like cloying. I don't think I've ever used that word before.
I'm going to assume you use it right because I don't know that word.
I'm gonna look it up next time you start talking, but it's like they were like the kind of sweet that's too sweet. Does that make sense?
Sure. To quote Emily when she messaged these to me, I'll just say to me, I was worried they were too sweet and too dry, but people liked them. I think I won on creativity and design. There you go. So that's basically what you just said. And also I will say you also wrote like that you did it from the Sip Spy box. Like I've heard all this. You tell a very consistent story.
So yes, I haven't gotten into the creativity aspect of them. Mm-hmm. But so I handed them out to some people at work. Matt, I'm sorry you didn't get one. You live too far away from me.
Fine.
Listen, I also didn't think they would mail well.
Okay.
But one of my colleagues, Eric, who sometimes listens, so I'm going to shout him out, today told me, this is many days after my victory, because again, I'm a first place person, he was like, you ruined me. They were delicious. I didn't think they'd be good. And now I just that's all I want. I want your Earl Grey cupcakes.
Wow. And much like how you can hold a grudge against something for a long time, and then that means you really hold the grudge. It sounds like he held the deliciousness for a long time, so that must make it extra true.
Which made me really happy, although it still makes me sad that I couldn't get that from my own cupcakes. Like when I tasted them, I just couldn't.
Wow, that's a real like curse. It's almost a Midas touch scenario. Not Midas touch, but it's in the same vein.
And I guess sometimes that happens with cookies, where I don't think they're as good as other people think they are. But it's not as dramatic. Like when I make snickerdoodles, I know they're good.
Well, you're a first place person, so why wouldn't they be?
But also I love snickerdoodles a lot.
Maybe you should make more cookies of things that you like the flavors of. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, I will make lots of cookies. If I make cookies just for myself, I'll make snickerdoodles. But, so this is my decoration. So the school did a really good job, and they gave us piping bags to, like, make it, like, a fun bonding event. We all got the same ingredients. And they gave us, like, little piping bags, which I didn't know how to use before. But they taught us how. You put the metal piece inside the bag. I thought it was like a hooking situation outside. It didn't make any sense to me, but I figured it out. And so I decorated them with like little, they were like lavender flowers, so I made the icing purple. And so they made like a little bit, not exactly, I don't even know what a lavender flower really looks like, but they looked like little flowers. And they held up really well. But then this was the piece that I was the most proud of. They're tea cookies, right? Mm-hmm. So originally, my original intention was to make like a...
cupcakes. Tea cupcakes?
Okay, yes. Was to make like a little fake handle. Like, because it's like a cup of tea. But that was too much. It was too much. But I did take a tea bag that I already had that I actually used to steep into the cupcakes, which I do need to discuss. I have not discussed that part. But I like used the icing to glue on a tea bag I made that said, I Heart and then the name of my school. So, and I stuck it into the icing and like put icing over it. So when you lifted it up, the tea bag would fall to the side. So it looked like a cup of tea, but the tea bag out of it.
Wow. Very nice.
You're not impressed with my design.
I think I said very nice. No, I appreciate the theming. Very good. I don't watch. I don't really watch. I have watched the Great British Bake Off, but I don't regularly watch it. But I do watch Nailed It enough to know that people like really can fuck that kind of stuff up. So I'm proud of you for doing a good job and for figuring out how the frosting works. That is also something I feel like people mess up a lot.
Even on the Great British Bake Off, they like the piping bags break. There's disasters. We weren't given a time limit, so that was helpful. But I was really proud. I don't normally like to make cupcakes because I don't like to frost things. Because one, I don't really like frosting that much in general. But also it's like so hard. It's like time consuming. And you have to wait until the cupcake's cool. And then you have to make sure the icing doesn't melt. And then you have to make them travel without the icing getting all bad. Mm-hmm. So I truly do prefer to make cookies. I also like cookies more. So
did everyone have to make cupcakes? Maybe I missed this part.
Yeah, we all made iced cupcakes.
And this was the teachers at your work?
Yes.
Or any staff or just teachers?
Any faculty or staff who wanted to join could join.
Got it. And the only base requirement was that it was, you said there were like different instructions like throughout or whatever, but the basic thing was that you were all making cupcakes.
Yes. Yeah.
You made the best ones, which is incredible. Great job.
But so I do want to say one more quick thing about how I made them, because this was actually very exciting. Listen, I am bragging, absolutely, but this was a recent experience I wanted to share with my friend Matt. Wow. But I had to steep the tea in milk. So I learned how to make a London fog for this.
Wow.
So you had to steep a cup of milk for until it not boiled, until it simmered. And then you turn the heat off and you put 4 tea bags in. And then you let it steep for 20 minutes. And, I don't know exactly how I'd make a London fog, but that seems like as good as a plan as any.
Yeah. I think like if you get one at like Starbucks, they just like do the steamed milk, steam you some milk or whatever, and then put a tea bag in there. Very cool. Very cool. London fogs are also delicious.
I'll have to do that again. I didn't actually think about it just now until I had realized I pretty much just made a London fog. Mm-hmm. Also, the Earl Grey tea I used was the cream of Earl Grey from David's Teas, which is noted one of my favorite teas.
Wow. Sure is. It's been declared on this very podcast.
So listeners, I'm sorry I had to brag, but I was just so excited.
You're not sorry.
I was proud. I never baked something like that before, using like tea like that. I guess I had once before. I made these like shortbread cookies with Earl Grey in them, but I didn't think the Earl Grey actually came through at all. Mm. So this is the first time it actually worked the way I wanted it to work.
Good. Now you have new experiences, and these cupcakes are also now it's a positive cupcake making experience. So maybe you'll be less hostile towards cupcakes.
It's not that I'm hostile. I still had the problem. It was like hard to like take them in to make sure they didn't get destroyed, or tipped over. But
you did it.
I did it.
You need like a cupcake carrying case.
I will say the whole time I was making them, I thought I only had like a cupcake tin that had 6 places. Mm-hmm. That's all I thought I had. But the recipe like made 12. But then I discovered another thing. So my bake time was cut in half, which was very exciting. I was very annoyed about having to do it in 2 batches.
You had 2 cupcake trays instead of 1.
Yeah.
Well, very nice. Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm Star Baker.
You are. So the topic is Star Baker?
Yeah, the topic is Star Baker.
It's not Emily as a Star Baker?
Also, so in the show, Star Baker, they always feel so elated and they feel so happy and you're so happy for them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know exactly how they feel. They have much harder weekends. I think I get it. I was so pleased to receive that email.
You can feel as good as they feel. You don't have to like be less than them. I feel like they're at least getting the glory of being on a TV show. You did it for the glory of just having a grand old time. I mean, I guess you are the best. You're the best person at your school now, but
when I told the kids, they cheered for me. That was really nice.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm cheering for you. I'm not snaps.
Okay, my topic's done.
Wow, topic complete. Very nice.
Matt.
Yeah.
So I'm Star Baker. What are you this week? You are your topic, by the way.
I am my topic. In a lot of ways, I am my topic this week. I have back on Matt's axe to grind for people who wronged him as a child, which sort of loops into your frequent topic of reading and how I sort of abandoned reading for a long time because book reports ruined reading for me. Another thing that was sort of ruined for me as a kid, and I'm actually wearing a themed shirt for this, is youth sports. And
wow!
I'm wearing my my Worcester youth soccer. It's just a t-shirt. It's like not even a sports fabric. It's just a t-shirt. But it's from when I was a little enough kid where they don't care that you wear like, sporty clothes. Like they just hand you a t-shirt.
How long have you had this shirt?
Well, I actually own 2 of this very same shirt that I'm holding up to you. I guess I've probably owned this for a solid, I don't know, 28 years or something.
It's in pretty good condition. Good condition.
It was a pajama shirt for a little bit. Got retired as a pajama shirt. It's also like fits me now, which this is like a shirt I wore as like a kid.
Yeah.
So it definitely was like a large overly large when I was a kid. Yes, youth sports is my topic. When I was a kid, the first sport I ever played was baseball. And I hated baseball. I hated playing baseball so much. But it was like that thing where you're a kid and you're encouraged to do stuff. So I was made to play t-ball and then baseball, and I was afraid of the ball. I never got unafraid of the ball. I actually got hit in the head with a baseball once. I was wearing a helmet, so not that bad, but it's not like I had no reason to fear the baseball. And this was like all between when I was like 5 and 8 years old. I don't believe I played baseball past age 8. So I was young and scarred for baseball. And that wasn't made any better by like necessarily the parents, although at that point in my life, the parents weren't so bad. But then I switched. I had to do something. I had to play a sport. I did briefly do karate as a kid.
I did not know that about you.
Yes, I made it all the way to purple belt. But then I kind of hated. I don't know. I grew to not really like that either. Like just going to the class. Like I did classes or whatever, and it was so. I don't know. I just got lazy about it. Didn't want to go anymore. And then I started playing soccer. Because again, little kid, got to play something. Got to do something. My first soccer team I was on, I met my still to this day longest running dear friend, Andre.
Your longest consecutive friend? Yes.
And I honestly I guess I started in 2nd grade with soccer. It's hard to remember exactly. But I did Worcester Youth Soccer, my hometown. You just sign up, you get thrown on a team, you get handed a color. My shirt that I'm wearing right now is blue.
Wow.
Actually, this is not my first one, because my first one, our uniforms were actually better than these. They were like mostly green with some gold or like a marigold yellow.
Okay.
And white. And we were called the Packers
Marigolds?
Because we were like the Packers, like the Green Bay Packers colors.
Those colors do make sense as Packers colors.
Yes, we were like it was mostly green, but like I guess the Packers are mostly green, but then have those other 2 colors. And at that point, like just the coach like named us the Packers, and that's just what we were called because of the uniforms. It was co-ed. It was a lot of fun. You just run around kicking a ball. And I don't know. Soccer was great. Loved soccer. It was the first thing that I think I really got super into. Because again, baseball I kind of did out of obligation, and karate I liked briefly, but then got tired of. And soccer was great. No stakes when you're that young. You just run around. You go to like have a pizza party or whatever at the end of the season. Specifically, when I was a kid, we went to the Ground Round, like an American style restaurant, and just like maybe it was pizza anyways, but whatever. Just like have fun. It's fun. You're a little kid and you're playing soccer. A couple of years go by. I'm on different teams. Some of the same cast of characters are on them, but that's when maybe around like I'm guessing around 5th or 6th grade is when I discover bad parents, the evil parents of other children who are just there to treat you like you're some sort of like you're a professional athlete, like, or whatever. I'm a 5th grader. Like I'm going to play soccer like a 5th grader does. And that's when I began to despise the parents who would like insist on coaching. And now lots of parents, great coaches. I had some great parents that were coaches throughout these years. But this was sort of the beginning. I had this one guy, I'm not going to put him completely on blast, but I had this one.
Roger Johnson. He sucked.
Ugh. He would just scream at people. And like looking back on it, I'm like, especially like through the lens of 2021 me, or even like 15 Matt or whatever, would be like, this is an unacceptable level to be yelling at children. I'm sure there's still parents that do this too. I don't go to children's sports anymore. Little thing I try to avoid. Although I guess I walk by it when if it's in like Prospect Park, I've like walked by people.
We've recorded the podcast near youth sports.
That's true.
But they're like really babies.
Yeah.
They're like 3 or 4 year olds playing soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I walk by baseball in Prospect Park, and I so far have not heard anyone like egregiously screaming at somebody, but I was egregiously yelled at that point, and I was like, I was old enough to be like, fuck this guy. Like, I'm definitely old enough by like the 5th grade to be like, this guy is the biggest asshole in the world, and I knew it, and I sort of was like able to ignore him. And then we'll just go only a couple years later to 7th grade, where I actually met another long running consecutive friend of mine, who I got put on a soccer team with in 7th grade. And 7th and 8th grade was the real beginning of the downfall, where I was on this soccer team where I wasn't bad at soccer. I wasn't great, but I wasn't bad. But when you get like a little older, they start putting you on these teams that like the team might have been together, and then you're sort of like just getting thrown on this team. Which I have a hard disagree about that concept. We can maybe touch on that in a minute. But I'm on this team, and the like starting 11 players on the field are all like buddies. One of their dads is the coach. And me and my now long running friend barely play at all season, because it is super serious. It's 7th and 8th grade soccer. It doesn't matter at all. But the coach just took it so seriously, and all the players did, that like my parents are like paying for me to be on this, this sport league thing.
Yeah. And
I'm just like barely playing, and I'm like, this sucks. And I was like so angry with it all. And then it sort of ends, my journey of soccer ends in high school, when I guess I was, my journey and it ends because I do 1 year of JV soccer, and it turns out that all the kids that were on that team that I didn't get to play on as were the varsity team at my high school. And I was like, well, fuck this. I don't like these guys. I hate them. Like, I mean, not even all of it's their fault. They've been pushed and pressured by their parents probably, and people who think they're going to get like soccer scholarships or some nonsense like that, which I don't think any of them did. This is more my axe to grind. And so I quit playing soccer, and I did cross country, and I did track and field. And so I basically got forced out of team sports by team sports being so shitty that I just started doing all running solo sport things.
Can I share my own journey through youth sports?
Please.
I'm going to include dance in youth sports. So I'm noted not athletic at all. So I played soccer when I was a kid, and my cousin was really good. And he did traveling teams and stuff. But I was bad. And I'll tell you a story about why I was bad.
I will say I was briefly on a traveling team, so that's how not bad I was. But yeah, I wasn't I didn't sink all that much time into it.
So apparently, I don't remember this, and my mom might correct the stories, but I would get bored because I was not good. Yeah. And they'd usually put me on defense, so I'd probably be away from the play. I have a few memories of youth sports. But apparently I would jump the white lines. My mom would see me walking around, and I would hop over the white lines, not run on top of them. And my mom asked me what I was doing, and I said something like, well, the white lines are where the sharks are. And I could just picture little me making up a story in my little brain.
This is classic. This is classic kid is bored with sport, because when I played baseball, they stuck me in right field because that's where you put the kids who suck or whatever, and I was bored, and I just wouldn't pay attention. If a ball did get hit to me, I'm not gonna get it probably because I'm too busy laying on the grass or putting my glove on my face or something ridiculous, because I'm just out there trying to make fun, have a good time. I don't know.
I just remember one time we were in practice and I got hit by a ball right in the chest, and the wind got knocked out of me. I remember that. Yeah. The tigers and the sharks and the white lines are really my main story. Mm-hmm. And I stopped playing. I don't remember what the precipitating event of why I stopped playing was. I think it was just clear it was not for me.
I think I would have been similar in soccer, and except I really was able to show that I was very fast. I'm a good runner. I've always been pretty fast. I think it's because I used to have to run away from bullies. But anyway, I used to in soccer, like I think the reason I usually played midfield, because I just ran a ton. I could sprint like up and down the field really fast. I could go back on defense. I could go up on offense. And I feel like that ended up being like, that's how I passed the time. And it helps. Like it's not only was I passing the time, but you're supposed to run a bunch in soccer.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, so I also, when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, I tried to rejoin soccer. I don't know why. I guess I wanted to. I asked my mom, I think. It didn't work out. When I was later elementary school, a little bit through middle school, I went to field hockey camp for 2 years, I think. I didn't try out for the high school team. I think we were on vacation and I didn't particularly want to. But one of the years at camp, I don't remember if it was the first or second year, I got most improved player, which really just means I was truly bad at the beginning.
Really bad, yeah.
And I improved. I
did do soccer camp one year. That was a thing. I really did like soccer. I think that was why it was such a devastating fall for me. I was like, ugh, I liked this. This is a thing I actually liked. Like I could, if I didn't get discouraged from playing soccer, then I could be playing soccer right now, like just for fun.
You could join a soccer league. In an improv class once, I was in a class with a girl who did an adult soccer league.
Yeah, I know. It can be tricky to break into, I guess. I don't know. I've done some adult sports. Like I've done softball teams like as an adult, but I don't know. If I knew people that invited me to do it, then I would definitely do it. But I like to seek it out yourself. It's just like such a hassle to me. I used to be on a comedy softball team. How's that? Were
you guys funny? Instead of strikes, you had to make people laugh.
Haha, yes. No, you just had to play. Actually, people. That's another thing. Like some people were so intense with that. Like crazy intensity, especially like these old guys that were like these old like stand-up comedians who were like you'd think would just be like all comedy their whole lives, and they would get so intense to play these softball games. I honestly, I just like what I want. I also don't want to play something too intense. That's the other thing. I'm not a professional athlete. I don't think I ever anticipated being one. And I think this whole time, like I just had this like anti-competitiveness to a lot of that. Like, I guess I want to win. Like, I don't want to like be whatever, but I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want to hurt somebody else. And I want everyone to have a good time. And if the reason you're not having a good time is because you want to win so badly, then that's your own fault. But like, I don't know, sports should be fun. I also think people have an inflated sense of like whether they would get a scholarship or go pro doing something. And not to say that people don't get that. I got a scholarship for being an Eagle Scout, so you can get scholarships for all kinds of random things. But to like, I don't know. I think everyone thinks that everyone's kid can be like that way or whatever. And in fact, I know that the guy who I said way earlier was screaming at people to play soccer, I know his son didn't turn out to be any kind of athlete. So it's like he just spent his entire youth yelling at his son to be better at soccer. And then, he quit soccer before he even got to high school, I think.
Wow.
So what good did it do?
What good did it do?
And I was pressured to really like baseball. And then, and it's funny because I took a while off not caring about baseball. And then it's my favorite sport to watch, but like I still would never want to play baseball. And I don't wish I was a pro baseball player, which I think is a thing people, I don't know.
I remember when I was in 4th or 5th grade, we had to do this, like what you want to be when you grow up, and we had to write about why. And a lot of people, a lot of boys picked like professional baseball player or something like that. And the teacher was like, it's really hard. It's probably not very likely.
I'm not like a lot of boys, so here we go.
It wasn't all of them. I just remember it was like 2 or 3.
I know professional athlete or like that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, it's a big boys. I don't know. It's whatever. I actually always wanted to own my own business. That was like my little kid dream. Like when I had a lemonade stand, it was like, this is the beginning of something that felt real to me.
Now you own your own YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
You are your business.
I'm on my way. A few thousand more subscribers, it could be a business.
Do you have anything else you want to say about youth sports? Be kind to your kids.
Be kind to your kids, please, please, please. And And I wanted to loop back on this, like, kids being like the team that was like the put together team. It's not important. None of this is important. If you want to prove your worth, just like go on some random team and prove your worth or whatever. Like, if you want to be with like your bestest best friend on the same soccer team, like, fine. But I don't know that they should allow like the entire like 11-person team to just like decide themselves and then throw poor old me onto a team like that where I have to like deal with all these people who are already friends. Impossible to break through. Very frustrating. Very annoying.
Very sorry.
It's like, what? Come on. I wanted a casual league my whole life. That's all I've ever wanted, was casual leagues of things.
I think you just need to look into a soccer league as for adults.
I did.
I bet there's beginner leagues.
Probably, I should look into it. I did do like intramural sports in college, so it didn't like completely ruin my whole life. I played broomball, which is a cross between hockey and soccer, ice hockey and soccer, where you wear sneakers on ice and you have a stick and you hit a ball into a goal. My team is pretty good, and I played dodgeball. I liked that.
You dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
We were the worst dodgeball team, but we still had a lot of fun. We got killed every time we went out there. But we also played, like, we did it, like, everything we did was, like, co-ed or whatever. And we didn't care to win, so, like, we would just, like, put, like, we didn't, like, the rules were usually, like, you have to have at least 2 girls on the field at any time or whatever for any of these sorts of things. And we were like, oh, well, we're just going to, like, treat guys and girls and whatever this equally, so we would just like put whoever out there, where like there'd be these teams where they'd have like 5 like 6 foot tall guys and like their one girl who they would like tuck in the corner, and it was always like, I was like, why, this is an intramural sport, you guys don't need to care that much about this dodgeball thing to like, you know, be doing that thing where you're trying to stack your team full of or put as few women on your team as possible. Like, that was always a weird thing.
One time in 9th grade, we were playing not dodgeball because you weren't technically allowed to play dodgeball, but like with a different name and slightly different rules. And I got hit in the face and my glasses broke.
Wow. I definitely didn't wear glasses to sport back then.
I had no choice. I was in PE. Mm-hmm. I was in gym.
I just have better. I used to not wear glasses like all the, like, I mean, I never wore glasses full time until actually kind of recently, but like contacts, I didn't wear full time either until after college or sometime during. I can't remember, but like in high school, I still needed glasses, but I would just like not wear them to things like that. I wonder if I would have been a better athlete if I had better vision when I was playing. Hey, I was a pretty good track runner. I was good at track.
I believe you.
I used to regularly come in first place in some events.
I've seen your track and field jacket.
I was a first place person.
You are a first place person. We are both first place people.
Heck yes. Yeah, that's all I have. Did you have any questions for me?
No, I feel like you answered them all as we went along.
Great.
I think you should look up an adult soccer league.
Yeah. I've been running again, so I'm getting back in that shape. Yeah, that's why I do running by myself. I do yoga. I just do singles athletics now. God. Much like how I read now, maybe I should get back into team sports. Topic done.
Matt, do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah. All right, well, I have a YouTube channel. You all may have heard of it. Maybe this is your first episode ever, though. Who knows? You can check it out at youtube.com/Matthew. All spelled out, my full first name. Armando, my full last name. I think I'm going to have a new sketch out this coming Sunday. Wild.
Whoa!
I haven't named it yet, so it might be called Ugly Chair. It might not be. I might have come up with a better name by then.
What if it's... Okay, I'm going to brainstorm names knowing nothing about this sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Lonely chair.
Lonely chair? Okay.
Left out chair.
Left out chair.
Unattractive chair. Neglected chair.
Hmm.
Worn down chair. Worn down by life chair.
These are all adequate descriptions of the chair, but maybe not what the sketch will be called.
Okay. Don't take my ideas.
I'm hearing them. I think it might not have the word chair in it. I think that might be the big change. So since all of yours still contain the word chair in them, those might not be what it's called.
Okay.
I think if it keeps the word chair, it'll be called ugly chair. Otherwise, the name is completely different and has none of the same words.
Okay. Worn down by life furniture. There's your title. If you don't take it, I'm going to be mad at you.
Okay. Well, prepare to be mad at me. Emily, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
No.
Okay. Great. Well, if you're not already subscribed to our podcast, please do that on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Stitcher or Spotify, or just bookmark tbdpodcast.com. Speaking of that TBD podcast, that's our username on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at tbdpodcast@gmail.com. And if you missed the announcement last time, we do this podcast every other week now. So so we'll see you in 2 weeks. Anyways, I've been Matt Armando.
I've been Emily Riggins.
And this has been TBD
with Matt Emily.
Bye.